I'm currently serving as president of the Mississippi Association of Educators. I'm a 16-year educator, social studies teacher, coach, and bus driver. And yes, I understand the value of belonging to a union. You see, my dad worked for 14 years in Chicago and was a member of Chicago Teachers Union. And he told me that there comes a point in time when we must stand up for what we believe in. I guarantee you, if you elect me, I will stand up and stand out for you. It's time for us to tell the corporate reformers. It's time for us to tell the disingenuous politicians. Their time is done. Our time is now. How long? Not long. Are we going to sit back and allow people to show us and tell us how to work? How long? Not long. Are we going to sit here and tell people that have never stepped foot in a classroom or foot in a bus or foot in a secretary's office and a cafeteria to tell us how to do our job? It's their time. It's our time now. So I tell you, I ask you, NEA, I need you. NEA, I want you. NEA, I love you. My name is Kevin F. Gilbert. I'm the candidate for the NEA Executive Committee. I need your vote. I want your vote. And remember, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not the darkness, that most frightens us. Kevin F. Gilbert, NEA Executive Committee, and for those of you who speak Southern, y'all vote for old Cam now. You hear?
Please welcome Maureen Kaufman.
Fellow delegates, my name is Maureen Kaufman, and over the past year, I have crisscrossed the country, connecting with local leaders and inspiring members to join us in a quest for election to the NEA Executive Committee. I envision a future where all educators in the U.S. are regarded as professionals. That means fairly compensated, highly valued, and serving as the key role in the development of our educational policies. Over the past couple of years, we have been the targets of an anti-union, anti-middle class, and anti-public education agenda. As a local president of a 2,300-member local in Michigan, I fought back at every opportunity, drawing attention to the role that we play in the education of our future generation, and letting the world know we will not stand for the endless standardized testing, so-called race-to-the-top grant programs, or an administration that wants us to carry 100% of the risk with no opportunity for reward. In other words, I refuse to sit quietly on the sidelines while those who couldn't last just one day, not one day in our shoes, have the audacity to tell us what's best for public education. I tell you, NEA, I'm fired up about this. I'm a second-generation union activist. My mother was the president of a small rural ESP local in my school district and took me with her at the age of 9 to walk the picket line, fighting privatization of my school district transportation and food service. I'll never forget my mother telling her union members, it might not be today, and it might not be tomorrow, but we are going to show the superintendent who is really in charge. Being on my mother's backside was not a good idea. Not only did the privatization effort fail to garner any support from the local school board, but my mother continued to press, and it wasn't long before she helped the superintendent pack his bags as he was sent to the unemployment line. You see, I share my story to give you some insights to the person that I am. It's those same core union values that my mother instilled in me at such a young age that drive me today and serve as a foundation of my candidacy. I'm running for election to the NEA Executive Committee to energize our newer generation of members. I'm running for office to mobilize every educator advocate. And I'm running for office to organize, like never before, to grow and strengthen the membership so that our voice is heard at every school district and university and on the steps of every capital across this country, letting workers know in this nation that we stand with them, united, stronger than ever before. Fellow delegates, I was fighting for us when I was 9, and I'm ready to fight for you today as a member of the NEA Executive Committee. I know our best days lie ahead. Will you join me in that quest? Will you join me in that quest? NEA, stand up if you will join me in that quest. My name is Maury Kaufman, and I ask for your vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Maury. The next candidate, Mark Airgood. Please welcome Mark Airgood.
Good morning. I'm Mark Airgood. I'm a member of the Equal Opportunity Now BAM Caucus, Civil Rights Caucus, a special education teacher from Oakland, California. I'm running for the NEA Executive Committee because our union needs leaders who are prepared to stand up and fight for public education. The truth is, Arne Duncan's program of allowing arrogant billionaires to determine education policy instead of paying taxes is cheapening public education. It's an economic policy of austerity, not an education policy. We see the results. Many families, especially Black, Latino, immigrant, and poor families, no longer have a public school in their neighborhood. The historic gains of the civil rights and union movement are under attack with the Duncan policy. It's cost the NEA hundreds of thousands of members over the past few years. But the current NEA leadership is determined to go along with Duncan. It's adapting to policies on charter schools, on standardized testing, on evaluation that are in direct contradiction to the interests of our members, our students, and the historic NEA program. The politicians don't fear or respect us because we haven't been fighting at any time over the past few years. If the NEA had called a one-day strike, a one-day national march on Washington to defend public education and to demand Arne Duncan out, we could achieve that. We can do it now. We need to bring the NEA into the new civil rights movement, to join the millions of young people and their families who are sick and tired of the attacks and are thirsting for action. We need to demand full citizenship rights for the 11 million undocumented people in the country. Let's honor Dr. King by organizing buses from across the country to August 28th anniversary march and demand affirmative action be defended. Demand immigrant rights. Demand the defense of public education. We can win if we act. If we act like a union, let's picket, strike, sit down, stand up, depending on the situation. Let's unite with our students and their families and fight. I'm dedicated to that. I'm a leader for mass action, for civil rights. If you want change, vote for myself, Mark Airgood, vote for Tanya Kapner. Let's build a leadership that will fight to win. Thank you.
Next candidate is Tanya Kapner. Please welcome Tanya to the stage.
Good afternoon, NEA. I'm Tanya Kapner, and I'm a leader of the new civil rights and immigrant rights movement with the Equal Opportunity Now by Any Means Necessary caucus, along with Mark Airgood. And I'm running for NEA Executive Committee because now is the time for the NEA to assert our commitment to equal quality public education for all. At the local, the state, and the national level, I stand up for school integration, affirmative action, and immigrant rights, and for a union that fights privatization and is prepared to basically to strike when that's what it takes. I will never forget holding the line for over 5 weeks on strike, for class size reduction and winning it, for my city, Oakland, and for all of California. I see the power that we have. I want us to use it. Yes, we've got to be courageous, and that means we have to be honest. Arne Duncan's whole plan has been a failure. It is not about reform, it's about the destruction of public education. And getting Arne Duncan out is long overdue, long overdue. We shouldn't be inviting him to our meetings. It's time to stop this collaborating. We know what works. Class size reduction, real resources for public education. We need to stand up, independent and proud. We need to shape the agenda, not be beholden to the politicians of either party. We need critical thinking and a full range of programs for our students, not scripted curriculum or being forced to teach to the tests. Yes, this August 28th is the 50-year anniversary of the March on Washington, of the I Have a Dream speech. That was a march for jobs and freedom. And you know, eyes on the stars and our marching shoes on, we need to be there in full force, NEA. For public education, for civil rights, to defend voting rights and affirmative action as the case goes to the court from Prop 2 for affirmative action to be restored this fall. For full equal quality education for all, full citizenship for the over 11 million undocumented Americans living here, working here, going to school here. This movement for immigrant rights is back in motion. Uniting with this can lead to victories for all of us. It's the best thing we can do to advance our struggles. We need a federal DREAM Act and educational opportunity, not fences, not border security, and what we do matters. It will decide if this nation truly goes forward to progress or holds back equal rights. We're strong, not weak. We've got power, and we need to act like a union and fight to win. I'm prepared to do that. The current NEA leadership has not been doing that. We need fighting leaders. We have a big opportunity this year. Again, let's act on our progressive traditions. Unlike the current leadership, I will not retreat on fighting for collective bargaining. NEA should actually lead the way. Then we will be expanding and not shrinking our membership and defending union rights for all members and future generations. Vote for myself, Tanya Kapner, and Mark Ehrgood, Equal Opportunity Now Caucus for NEA Executive Committee if you want a fighting leadership. Thank you.
Please welcome Paul Mueller. Paul Mueller.
I am Paul Mueller, and I'm here with a call to action. NEA, we are at a critical point in public education.